Kia ora and hello. This is the Music 101 interview podcast with me, Charlotte Ryan. Today I'm interviewing Lorde, a local artist who without a doubt is one of the biggest pop stars in the world. She's so open and generous with me in this chat. We speak about what Lorde was like as a teenager. She spoke to me about the therapy that she's done to help her stage fright, and she shares the music that she plays to get ready backstage before a show. However, due to music rights, I can't play you the songs. However, as you'll hear, she's as eloquent as ever. Ella, it's a total treat to have you here at RNZ. Face to face, even.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Me.
Thanks for coming in. You're co-hosting with me this hour. And so co-hosting means I'm going to ask you lots of questions, but you get to choose the music. And
very exciting for me.
We were sort of going, should we choose themes or anything? And you've chosen 5 songs. Tell me the theme of the songs that you've picked.
The theme of all of these songs is they have kind of been my go-tos when I'm getting ready backstage to play a show. I am notorious for absolutely insane music choices backstage. I went through a period on the Melodrama tour where we listened to the Phantom Thread score like every day before an arena show, like a full pop show, you know. I was like, my hair and makeup were like, this is super depressing for us. But for me, I need
Ella,
something
it's a total
quite
treat to have you here at RNZ. Face to face, even. I wondered that because I don't know that soundtrack. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, it's Johnny Greenwood. It's super amazing, but quite heavy, you know. Not probably many people's go-tos, but I feel like these songs run a good spectrum of like all the different things that you sort of need to draw upon, whether that is like just wanting to have fun and have a dance or take it somewhere quite, you know, serious and feel the power.
Because what are your emotions before you go on stage? I mean, the Solar Power Tour, which you're just about to reintroduce to New Zealand.
Yes, finally.
I'm so excited. It's been too long. But beforehand, do you still get nervous? You know, and when you talk about that grounding music, is that just so you can sort of focus and meditate before you go out, in a sense?
So I used to get super, super nervous before I played. Always, my whole life. I had super bad stage fright, whether it was a school play or, you know, like a show for work. And I did a ton of work on that in the time that we were all sort of sitting around at home.
And lockdown.
Really, worked hard on that. And the year prior, and, you know, it's been a real process for me, but I'm now at the point where I'm not waking up the morning of a show, you know, full panic, full fear, full dread, because it really was debilitating for, you know, months at a time. I would just be in this state of...
How did you get through it?
Well, just like a ton of quite specific therapy, which was awesome. So it means that now going into a show is... my baseline is totally different. I'm like, what am I feeling? What are they going to be bringing? You know, what's the energy that I've picked up from the city that we're in? Which is, you know, often I'm completely wrong. I'm like, oh, this place seems there might be a bit dour here. And then it's like the most crazy, raging pop dance party of the whole tour. So I don't know. It's just like a zone of focus that you have to go into. I'm totally present and really, really attuned to everything that's happening when I'm on stage. I have to be, and it's a really interesting sensation to be using your body in this way that all these people, you know, taking you in, but I've got this set of kind of calculations and thoughts happening to do with what I know to be taking place on stage and off stage, because I'm hearing things in my ears, you know, maybe we're having a technical difficulty and it's taking a few songs to be resolved. I can't let that show in my body, you know, but it's something that's happening for me. So it's like such an intense zone you have to get into. And so I find music to be quite helpful to kind of get me there.
Because it feels so strange that this Solar Power Tour was your 3rd ever world tour. But yet you did 70 plus dates for it.
Yeah.
So you'd really have to prepare yourself for something like that. What happens on those tough days?
It's funny, you know, like, because you do get tired.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, this is our 6th show this week. We're completely exhausted. Someone might be hungover, probably not me, but anything could happen. And so sometimes you just don't feel like doing it. And often I find those to be the best shows because something is brought out of you sort of in spite of yourself. I don't know. It's like it comes from somewhere difficult to pinpoint, which I always think is exciting. I'm like, whoa, I'm having an amazing time up here. And I was so sure that this would suck for me,
Yeah.
But I will say one thing that has been a game changer for me is I started consuming caffeine last year for the first time in my adult life.
Stop. You never drank coffee before?
No. And now I will, before the show, I will crack a sugar-free Red Bull, Charlotte. And I will drink about half of that. And I'm like, wow, the sense of well-being and optimism that I feel is like, I'm like, I see what people are doing with this caffeine thing. So that is also quite helpful to combat, being like, I don't want to do it.
It just gives you that kick.
Gives you wings.
Are you being sponsored by Red Bull?
Oh, God, imagine. It would be amazing. No, it's like total garbage, but it does do the trick.
I cannot wait to see the Solar Power tour here in New Zealand. I think what I feel so tingly and excited about is I feel like Solar Power, and this is very self-centred, but was written for us.
Aww.
It was written for the New Zealand summer. Maybe it wasn't, but I feel like so much of it represented the New Zealand summer, and now you get to perform those songs to us again. Will it feel different performing Solar Power songs in Aotearoa, do you think?
Oh, 100%. I mean, you're right. I do think of the album as very much about here, where we're from.
There's insect sounds from New Zealand.
Yeah, no, totally. It's it's very personal, and I feel the beaches and the sort of like grass that I know here. So I think it will feel. I'm prepared for it to be quite emotional for me, and maybe a little nerve-wracking in a new way. I'm so excited. I'm just inviting friends left, right and centre. I go into a restaurant I like and I'm like, you should come to the show.
Get on stage with me.
It's all happening. But it's also just, I love the show so much. The set is so beautiful. I'm maybe most proud of this piece of stage design out of anything I've done. I literally drew it on a piece of paper. There's 8 of us on stage. And the choreography, the movement for the show was done by a woman called Annie B. Parson, who is most famous for creating American Utopia, the show with David Byrne. And she is so incredible and she was so amazing to work with on this. So having the combination of this piece of set and this wizard woman who knew how to use people's bodies, it's just so, I love living in the show. It's just totally delightful to me. So I think it'll be cool. I feel very proud of it and excited. And
if you've just tuned in, Lorde is co-hosting this hour with me. We're playing songs or her songs that she likes to play before she goes on stage or even goes out for a party. And the first one, Lauryn Hill, To Zion. This song features Carlos Santana and it's such a classic. Well, do you remember when you first heard it or discovered it? Or
I'd always sort of been aware of Lauryn Hill, but this album came out when I was a baby, so there are a lot of classic albums that I missed just because of how old I was when they came out. But this album has been such a friend to me on this tour. I just think it is so, so, so impressive. It sounds as good now as it would have in 98. She was 23 years old, a new mother, and, dealing with this breakup of the Fugees and processing all the stuff that really makes sense to me, But this song in particular, I just love. It's about her process of, deciding to have her child and how that sort of took her to another place, It's, I just love it so much.
can I be cheeky and ask a question? You've spoken about motherhood a little bit. Even in one of your songs, you speak about your future daughter. Is that something that you want to be a mother one day?
Yeah. I sort of have always seen myself being a parent.
Imagine having your mum as my mum.
Oh, God. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to... You can't swear on RNZ, right?
I don't know. A little bit.
You can't... I was going to say, fuck it up. I'm sure I'll make as many mistakes as, every parent does. But, yeah, I was one of 4, and I really felt how incredible that work is, parenting, mothering, and it just benefited me so greatly. And, I think there's like real magic in it. And it also just seems fun to have these little mates cruising around, you know.
Oh my God.
It's definitely delineation between like pop star, you know, I'm sure it would really usher in a new chapter, but totally, I would love to do that someday.
It's from experience, it's so nice. But last year, I've suffered the most anxiety ever from my 14, almost 15-year-old. So
oh my,
it's beautiful.
my, yes.
And then it gets into this like...
That's the period, yes. Yeah. I remember it well.
What were you like as a 14-year-old? Were you...
What was I like? I think I was a bit naughty. I was sort of like playing around with being naughty after being a very good girl for a long time. Around that time was when I started sort of properly taking music seriously. My mum was like, cut it out, you know, it's time, like you've got this opportunity, you're going to just squander it before you even know if you want to do it. And that sort of kind of called me. I was like, okay, well, you know, I got to give this a go. And then I met Joel and we started writing together, and very quickly in that I was like, oh, being naughty is completely pointless. Like I found the thing that stretches me and asks a lot of me, and it was just over, you know. So I was like, I did start working quite early, you know.
I know.
That's the start of my work life. I was just like, boom.
Because 14, which was the age we were just talking about, is that when you signed to Universal? Was it?
I signed to Universal at
12?
Which is really crazy, I know.
Even when you were 14, did you have any anticipation of what the future could hold? Did you dream and aspire to have the success that you had?
You know, it's funny, Charlotte. I did. I was a very ambitious kid, creatively ambitious. I knew what I wanted to make, and I felt that there was something that I wanted that wasn't there. And I just sort of had this thought that I'm going to do it and it's going to be really great. And I don't know what to chalk that up to. I'm nowhere near that confident in my own ability now, but as a teenager, I just believed that I knew what I was doing. And I think that's just honestly because I read so much, and I knew that everything that was like coming through me I was like, well, I've read all this great stuff, so that has like informed my writing. And
Unworldly.
You know what I mean? It wasn't just me being awesome. I was like, it's Carver and Tobias Wolff and Salinger, I don't know, whoever I was reading at the time. Like, so.
Do you think, like on reflection, that was naive?
Well, I was right, wasn't I? So it's sort of a funny thing. Like, but
it's funny.
Of course, there's naivete in that. You would only have that thought because you didn't know.
Exactly,
you know?
Which is a blessing.
But also, yeah, I was really raised being told I could do absolutely anything and that I was special, you know. And I think that's a huge part of it. That wasn't something that I doubted, which I'm aware is a huge gift. Like, I think I definitely know people who had to sort of arrive there rather than just knowing it as a given. So
how does it feel then, reflecting over the last 10 years since your debut album came out? What are the emotions that you think of when you think about it? Is it kind of like, wow, it's gone fast, or has it gone...
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's been so amazing, Charlotte.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe this is my life. I feel so lucky. I love what I do. I can't believe, like, the places I've gotten to go. You know, the experiences I've had. I'm like, if this was it tomorrow, I would have had a great, great run. Like, I just feel... That's my overwhelming feeling is, as a teenager, I didn't think any of it was that crazy because it was just my life, you know. But I can see now, oh my God, you lucky little so-and-so, like how incredible. So that is really my overwhelming feeling. It does feel quite fast in a way. I really felt it turning 26. I was like, oh, okay, we're on the other side of something now. We're going somewhere different, you know.
And also album 3.
Album 3, like all this sort of stuff. I feel way more like settled in what I can do. And even like the process of building the show with lots of people who I've worked with for 10 years, you know. Something about getting back together for a third time and being like, okay, we really do know how to do this now, you know. That muscle memory will kick in, so... It's so cool.
Lorde, let's go into your next piece of music that you've chosen. And this is amazing. I've never heard this track before.
Yeah, this is pretty wild. So this song is called Kavalsvidi. It is a piece of Bulgarian folk music, and it was on a really iconic compilation of Bulgarian folk music, I think in the 80s. This song just electrifies me, and I feel totally like summoned by it, and I'm like, okay, like it's time to do the thing, you know, whatever that may be. I find it to be, it's not a background piece of music. It is intense. It like gives me full body chills. And it's also just catchy as hell to me. I think the melodies are totally incredible. But this is like, if I'm backstage and I'm, you know, struggling to draw upon, you know, whatever I will need, I'll be like, all right, you need a good dose of Kavalsvidi. So I actually can't wait to play this on RNZ. I wish I could sing this song because I can't. But this one, honestly, I'm just sort of taking in because it's just such an incredible piece of music. But yeah, for the most part, I'm singing along to stuff. I'm moving. I stretch my whole body. I sort of get everything, try to get it all connecting after it, you know, maybe a day on a plane or sitting with my laptop.
Where did you come across a Bulgarian compilation? You were like, this comes off a really popular Bulgarian compilation. How does that come across your desk?
Well, it was kind of a thing in the 80s, I think.
Like when world music started coming about?
Maybe, yeah. I think maybe I found out about it because I know Kate Bush was a big fan. And I think maybe even travelled to Bulgaria to work with them. But that really set me on a path of, because, you know, I'm Croatian, and I realised, wow, I don't know any Croatian folk music. Like I need to go and find this. The fact that this Bulgarian music is really speaking to me. What does Croatian music sound like? What does Serbian folk music sound like? And they're all completely different. I mean, there's such distinct identities for all this different folk music. So it was sort of the touchstone for a lot of cool discovery for me. But I just love it.
On the Solar Power Tour, you performed in Croatia. Was that the first time?
Yes, my first time being in Croatia. It was completely wild.
Did you resonate with it?
Oh, totally. I mean, the whole time I was having this bizarre experience of feeling like I'd been there before. You know, there were sort of similarities to Aotearoa in a funny way. The water, we sort of like went swimming heaps and ate tons of seafood, and it was just so amazing. And then we played on this like cliff top. There's like a fortress on the cliff overlooking the ocean. We sort of had to like drive up this little road. It was so crazy. Yeah, it was just unbelievable. I couldn't believe that like people knew who I was in Croatia, and they knew who my mum was. They were like cheering. They were saying Sonia, Sonia. She was like a celebrity. It was so moving. I actually felt like overwhelmed by how moving it was.
Do they call you one of theirs? Are they like, you're Croatian, you're one of us?
I got that vibe. Yeah, I did get that vibe. It was it was just it was such an amazing moment that.
I saw some social media footage and it just looked incredible. And I'm not sure whether it was that venue or another amazing one somewhere else in Europe. But you and Marlon performed together and sung one of your songs in Te Reo in Māori.
Yeah, we did.
I wonder what that would have been like, singing in Māori, overseas in Europe.
Yeah.
It felt like the audience loved it, or you had them in the palm of your hand. But tell me about that.
Yeah, that was really amazing. We'd sort of talked about doing it the whole tour. Marlon came on tour in Europe with me, which was so gorgeous. Like, to have one of your gorgeous mates from home, you know, come and play and seeing everyone react to him and, you know, just these audiences like totally falling in love in the way that we all fall in love with Marlon. And then getting like a cuddle before we would go out. He would always join us for our band warm up and come and sing because he's one of the vocalists on Solar Power. So he knows all the parts super well. So we'd always be like cuddling. I'd be drinking my Red Bull. I'd be like, I'm tired, Marlon. He'd be like, I know. Such a cozy environment. So yeah, we'd sort of like I was like, we should sing something together, one of the waiata. And we ended up doing Mata Kohore, which was so special and so beautiful. And we were both like, we did it right at the end of the tour. We were like, we should have been doing this the whole time. Why didn't we? Why did we wait? But it was definitely, you know, a little, I mean, more than a little. It's heavy. That's a big responsibility to sing live in Te Reo, not have the sort of safety net of the studio and the the ability to edit and all this
Yes.
sort of stuff. So we really wanted to get it right. But that's something I'm looking forward to doing on this tour, is hopefully singing all of the waiata, so
Yeah, I
see how
wondered
it goes.
that.
Yeah, I think it'll be really cool.
That EP was so beautiful.
Thank you.
It was so special. It did cause a tiny bit of controversy.
A tiny bit.
How do you reflect on it now? No regrets.
Oh, no.
Good.
No.
Good.
No, I feel as proud of it as I did, the day before we released it. I feel mainly grateful for the conversation that it generated. I feel that to be a person in public, to be a public figure, part of why we need people that are famous is for them to sort of bring things up that allow us to discuss things, feel things, work through things as people, as a society. And to feel that happening around me, even though, it's like a place of discomfort, I couldn't have felt more grateful for it, because that's what it's all about. I knew what my intention was, and I knew how my collaborators felt about what we had made. And so, to be able to feel all that was coming up was actually like really incredible for me. And I'm super, super grateful for it, which sounds like something that sounds like a fake answer, but it's actually one of my career highlights. Yeah, to have been able to bear witness to something like that.
Yeah, you're so right about the conversations.
That's how things move through,
And they might be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But that's almost how we grow. And
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's go on to your next song.
Okay.
If you've just tuned in, Lorde's in studio, and we're playing songs, or the songs that want to make you play before you go out to party, or you play before you go out on stage to perform.
Yes.
What's the next song that you've got? Oh, Heim.
Bit of a time specific, I think they will be in the country
They will be.
in a couple of days, or maybe today.
I think, they may be arriving. In fact, there's another friend of yours that's arriving in the country too, which reminds me, I've got a message for you from here.
Oh,
I'll tell you.
cool.
I just suddenly remembered that.
Okay, awesome.
But tell me about Heim. Would you call them friends, or are they just, do you hang out with them? I have this imagination that you guys
friends.
do.
Yeah, we've definitely hung out a lot in the past, and we've sort of like, there's been a pandemic and all that sort of stuff.
course.
But no, I saw Danielle. Actually, I sat at a bar with her in New York the other day.
The other day.
Yeah, like a month ago or something. That's cool. Yeah, this song, it's a song called Now I'm In It. Danielle wrote this about her depression and sort of having this like heavy thing over her and trying to bust through it. And it just, I don't know, in a moment where I might be like, oh God, how could I possibly do this thing I need to do for these people, I've had a couple of moments where I've put this song on. Everyone's fluffing around me, getting me dressed and doing makeup things and hair things, and everyone's touching me, I'm like, just go away. I put the song on, and all of a sudden I'm there, I'm ready, and I'm in my own space and moving, and, my makeup artist is like, stay still. I'm like, no, I can't. It's too much of a vibe. So
How would you feel? I mean, you've got such close relationships with your siblings, as I understand, but touring with your siblings, that would be quite intense, I reckon.
it is quite amazing what they do. I'm blown away. They've always, they seem to communicate super well and have a good thing going on, but everyone knows what it's like with family. It's big personalities. I would probably struggle a little bit, but
I just have to play this to you. Actually, so, yeah.
oh, cool.
Oh, yay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you let the cat out of the bag. So speaking of Laneway, Phoebe Bridges, or actually the lineup for Laneway on Monday is just so incredible. Will you be
Not
going
bad,
there?
huh? I will go, yeah.
Incognito, maybe
I'll
some
be
wings.
incognito, yeah. In the mud.
But I spoke to Phoebe Bridges, and she's actually on the show next hour. But when I spoke to her, I said, Lorde's co-hosting with me. Do you have a message for her?
Oh.
And she's so sweet. And it was quite awkward, but this is her message for you.
Hit me up, man. Let's hang out. I want to see you when I'm in town. Yeah, that's what I want to say.
I did hit her up. We're hanging out.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Oh, love her.
Now,
She's the best.
have you collaborated with her?
Yeah, so she sang all of Solar Power. She's one of the female vocalists. Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, and then we performed together somewhere recently. I'm trying to think where we were.
Same.
Maybe South America. It's all a blur. We were just on this festival tour of South America. Her and Caroline Polachek and Charlie XCX, and the four of us went out for dinner. It was so nice. And yeah, we would just sort of like be, someone would be on an hour before someone else. We had a group text going, are you going to go watch? I'm going to watch Caroline after this. Okay, cool. I'll see you side of stage. It's like quite a sweet vibe. But yeah, Phoebe's amazing. I'm super blown away by what she's built. I remember hearing Motion Sickness and being like, whoa, this is major, what she's doing. So.
And what she's speaking about, everything.
So cool.
Yeah.
God.
Can we talk about South America just quickly? Because
yes.
sounds like that part of your Solar Power tour was just absolutely nuts. Like, you had 6 security guards looking after you.
Can you believe that?
I sort of can, though.
It's insane, Charlotte. I can't believe it. Like,
but
that's crazy.
When I think of a big pop star, I would assume that.
Me too, but
That's the weird thing that you and I have spoken about before, and what Solar Power, a lot of the theme of Solar Power is that juxtaposition between you being a pop star and then coming back to New Zealand and being Ella, or being Lorde, but here in New Zealand.
Yeah.
When you had those 6 security guards, did you feel safe?
I mean, I felt safe, but it's kind of a buzzkill, You're like, I would open my hotel room door and there was just a man sitting there all night. I guess in case someone wanted to break in and like kill me, it's sort of it does put you in touch with your own like mortality in a funny way, like Jesus. But no, they're all super cool guys. Really, really liked them all.
But people over there are quite intense with you, aren't they?
Well, there's just a really amazing, like robust fan culture there in general. So everyone is like a little bit more famous, everyone in my position. And the fans are really just active. They really go to shows. They will come outside the hotel. They're just in it, which is I find super awesome and fun. And the shows are always incredible.
Just wild, the energy.
So beautiful. And they've like a number of kids that would have like the most beautiful little handmade, like Solar Power earrings or T-shirts or, little, I don't know, just there's so much creativity that they bring. It's just always so awesome for me to get to go there. I'm like, I'm in South America right now and you guys are doing this, I know.
And then you come back to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Even though you and I have discussed it and you've obviously thought a lot about that juxtaposition of the fame and then coming back here, has your processing of those thoughts made it easier?
Well, I think, it's good because things like that week or 2 weeks in South America are very much anomalies. That is like pretty uncommon for me. And I really like it that way. I feel super lucky that my life does look how I would want it to look, all things considered, being in a position like this. I have a huge amount of freedom and I really, one of the things is like a non-negotiable for me is being able to walk around a city. Wherever I am, I need to walk. If I can't go outside, if I can't take myself for a 2-hour walk, I feel totally disconnected and weird. And, that's when it starts to, for me, I would struggle to weigh that up and be like, okay, well, I can't walk around, but, I get to do this cool job. That's when maybe I'd be like, it's time to, become a hermit.
So how many security guards go on your walk? Like 3 or 4
I couldn't really go for walks in South America.
Oh, you couldn't?
No. I would, I'd go for lots of walks on the treadmill, which was quite depressing. I was just like, what am I doing with my life? But no. For the most part, there's no security guard on the walk.
It's so weird because I was, of course, thinking of this and all your security guards. And then I think yesterday I was walking home from work and I saw this babe blonde in these pink bike pants.
Oh my God.
And I was like, and she was running along Newton Gully.
Oh my God.
And I think it might have been you.
Yeah, it probably was me.
And I was like, that is so cool that you can do that in your country. There's no, you know.
It's Kiwis though. It's not like people are, there's that understanding, you know. Also, I think I've probably literally met everyone that lives here. There's no appeal to my physical presence anymore.
Yes,
as it
there
should
is.
be, you know. No, I'm very happy. But yeah, that would have been me.
Lord, we're almost out of time, but let's go on to your next song, Radiohead. They rate as one of my top bands. Where do they sit for you?
Oh God, I mean, huge.
I
you
know.
It's yeah, and Rainbows is like one of my favorite albums of all time, and I still am totally not sick of it. I put it on and am as impressed as when it came out. As I get older, I'm really drawn to music that I feel, and this is going to sound kind of strange to people maybe, but that I feel God in. I don't think of myself as religious in any sense. I've never had quote unquote God in my life, but music where I feel something bigger than me or than all of us, you know. And
Like enlightenment, like you'd use words.
I don't even know really how I would describe it, but I do feel that with a lot of Radiohead's music. I assume it's probably just a sort of spirituality that I'm feeling, you know. And I really felt that being on tour. I was like, you know, this is how we come together to kind of feel something collective move through us. Like it is quite spiritual going to a concert, you know. And yeah, something about the song, it's a bit like a hymn to me. It's like so kind of meditative and yeah, I can feel him really reaching to like another part of the universe. Sounds a little fruity, but
I can actually relate.
yeah,
I'm such a
tell me
big
if-
fan too.
people should write in and tell us if they feel it with this crazy use of the text line.
People love Radiohead like you do, like I do. It is spiritual. It's beautiful. It takes me to a really, like, yeah, it makes me feel like I'm meditating or something like that when I listen to them. Have you seen them live many times?
I've seen them just once, yeah, at Barclays in New York.
Same. I've seen them just once. They are I was actually lucky enough.
Oh no, I've seen them at Coachella. I've seen them twice.
Oh, that was back in my publicity day, and I was their publicist, and
Oh my
so
gosh.
yes, but it actually
Wow.
didn't mean much because they were so private.
Right.
Like even me as publicist, I could only go certain parts of the backstage. It
Wow.
was so it confused me, or not confused me, but but yeah, I'm intrigued by their privacy, and I wanted to ask you about. I feel like you're quite private as well. Is that quite conscious?
Yeah. Well, always for me, my thing was like, I can only do this job if I have it the way I need it. And privacy is a big part of that. Things being the same is a big part of that. You know, I don't let anyone who isn't working be backstage before a show. I don't want
No
to,
friends?
whether that is my closest friend in the world, before the show is a place of consistency and calm, and I don't want anything to, because I'm just so sensitive.
And focused.
And social interaction takes a huge amount of energy from me, so I have to be really careful about how I meter it out. So yeah, that level of care around who's going to be where, and I get that, but I get that it seems crazy. I mean, we are all a bit mental. We're artists, like we're freaks. We're not like normal people, you know.
Amazing freaks. Very, very clever, talented freaks. That's the wrong word. I don't like using that word. Yeah. And sorry if you get tired for asking this question, but I wanted to ask you then about your social media, because social media feels like such an obvious place to, you know, reach your audience, sell tickets, sell albums, do all that stuff. And I've really admired how private you've been through the lack of social media in a sense as well. How has that changed? I remember you talking about it years ago, and it just, you know, was distracting you like it does for so many of us. Or how do you feel now about social media?
Well, I still don't have access to it on my phone. I can go on it on my computer, I think, sometimes. But I have really put distance between myself in that, just sort of for my peace of mind, I guess. But I do think that there are times when I miss, that sort of communication with people, and I can see how people need that. That's the primary way that we are all communicated with, both by people we know and people we don't know. So I have been thinking about, ways to sort of do that without doing it. And every once in a while I'll just pop up and post a bunch of stuff on a story and then disappear again,
And the world goes crazy and Pitchfork writes about it.
Wow. But yeah, so we'll see. It's sort of like, I'm sure it will always be moving. But I sort of missed, it surprised me that I missed hearing from people or feeling connected to people in that way.
Well, I wondered too with the touring, and especially, say, going back to South America, for example, they would have gone like crazy on social media around you touring. Like sometimes I wondered if that would feed you or as a creative and give you buzz. And do you miss that?
Oh, well, I've always been quite careful about that because I think it's a slippery slope. If you're getting energy or validation from that source, I think at some point you're going to be in trouble. I try to, and I don't think really anyone, no matter what I don't think anyone that's getting compliments on social media is like, you're not feeling that. You're not like, oh, I feel incredible because of this thing someone's just said about me. You're looking for the bad thing, and then you're like, that is me. I am that comment embodied. So it's never personally had like that kind of pumping up effect on me. And I have been quite careful about it. But
yeah,
it is so sweet. I mean, some things I see and I'm like, oh, God, you little crazy kids. It's so awesome.
I know.
Their kids are amazing. Like, it's incredible. All the stuff they make, I'm blown away.
I know. I can't wait to see what the New Zealanders have made for you or done for you.
Oh,
there are so many of us so excited to finally see you. Of course, this tour was meant to happen last year. It's finally happening. You're calling it Reintroducing the Solar Power Tour. And this is the album that was kind of made for us this summer. The venues that you're playing. So you're doing Days Bay in Wellington, 21st and 22nd.
So beautiful.
And then heading to Electric Avenue in Hagley Park in Christchurch. I'm quite tempted to fly down for this because it's a massive festival.
Do it.
And you'll be doing like a festival show in a sense.
Yes, you should come to that. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm quite tempted. 25th of Feb. Then Nordhoff Vineyard.
Yes, so beautiful.
And I wondered if you just chose that venue so you could have a lovely little break as well, because it looks quite dreamy.
It does look dreamy, doesn't it? No, I really love those, that sort of amphitheatre, that old school clamshell shape stage. I think I really saw this album being amazing in that sort of outdoor environment with those old school kind of curved stages. So,
oh my gosh, yes. And you're taking your full set.
Yes.
So it looks beautiful.
Thank you.
And the colours are amazing. Any costume changes? Apparently sometimes you do 2 or 3 costume changes a show.
Yes, that's right. I usually end up wearing like 4 different things, full pop star. And yeah, the show is just, the set is so awesome. So it's a sort of take on a sundial. And I really wanted to like use materials that felt kind of like of the earth. So it's sort of like cut out of stone, and there's this incredible like silk moment in there. And it's just the textures are so beautiful, and the forms, we really spent so long, me and my designer Kiara, sort of nailing down the exact proportions for this thing, because there's sort of nowhere to hide. It's quite simple.
Does it move? Does the stage move?
It does move.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I can't believe you're bringing it here. That would have cost a lot to fly it to New Zealand.
Yeah. In this economy, Charlotte. No, it's cool. I would only ever want to bring the full thing down here, so I'm glad that we can make it happen.
Lorde, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much. This was a pleasure.
I was speaking with Lorde for Music 101 RNZ National. Go and listen to Solar Power, her brilliant album. And keep an eye and an ear out. I hear there's a new release from Lorde coming soon. Of course, we'll always feature it on Music 101 on RNZ National.